How's it going, everyone? It's me, Saul. I haven't done one of these small little intro videos since last year. I'm sorry. Uh, I hope y'all are doing well, and that this new year is treating y'all okay, because we're all pretty much okay, aren't we? Thank you for joining us for our rebroadcasting of our PowerPoint party. We're very excited to show it to you again. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully, y'all can maybe let us know in chat if you'd like for us to do another one. I think we would like to do another one. I think it would be. I'm positive we all have entered this new year with a lot more stuff that we can make PowerPoint parties about them. So yeah, let us know if you'd like to see another one of these. I think the runtime is about maximum an hour and a half. So, not too long, but we hope that you enjoy it. We do start off with Chris at the very beginning with his own recording before we jump into the group call, just because he wasn't able to make it that day. And so, but trust me, it just amplifies how unique his PowerPoint party is. We hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you enjoy all of ours. Truly, we really did pour a lot of fun into these, so we hope that you enjoy them. If you haven't already, please follow us on social media at TurnTables RPG. That's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. You can also join our Discord with the link below. Yes, if you haven't already, please check out our Uncharted Worlds campaign. It's 12 episodes on, and the VODs are on YouTube, all numbered. It is with one of our producers, Eric, as the GM, and Dustin, Masha, Chris, and Mars as the cast members. And they do a phenomenal job. It's a lot of fun. We hope that you enjoy it. If you like sci-fi, I'm positive that you will. Yes, it was a lot of fun. So please go check that out. Season 1 of Monster of the Week is also on YouTube if you'd like to check that out. It is 32 episodes, 32 episodes. So it is kind of a watch, but if you've got the time, maybe you'll like it. We also have our turntable or our Tiny Tables VODs on YouTube as well. That's The Witch is Dead, Sexy Battle Wizards, Chaos Theory, Metahuman Uprising. I think that's it. I might be missing one. If I'm missing one, that's kind of embarrassing for me, but those should be it. Hopefully you'll enjoy those too. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be doing some more Tiny Tables in this new year. But thank you for sticking with us. Development on Season 2 is coming along really well. Hopefully we'll have a premiere date for y'all pretty soon. So make sure to be in our Discord or on our social media when that releases. We are meeting tonight to talk about stuff. So hopefully we can get that to you pretty soon. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much again. We love you. We appreciate you. Unclench your jaw. Get a nice stretch out. Get a drink of water. Be kind to yourselves. Yeah, be kind to yourselves. And enjoy our PowerPoint party.
Hello, and welcome to my finest hour. I apologize for the lighting. I'm trying to figure it out. We're in a new place. A new place of being. I'm talking quietly because I'm very awkward. But shh, 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 hey, shush. So for my presentation, we will be talking about a highly debated topic among the community, which is pizza a sandwich? Now, this is a very interesting conversation, but it's not the one I'm actually going to have. I'm a man of logic, of science, and so the real question I'm going to be asking is, who is the hottest Bakugan? Who is, or what is, the hottest Bakugan? First off, let's define what is hot. Hot is having a high degree of heat or a high temperature. Now, obviously, I can't go by this logic because the Bakugan attribute of Pyrus would win this competition. No out, it would obviously be a Pyrus Bakugan. Like what? And I'm a man of fairness. So to give the rest of the attributes being Ventus, Subterra, Darkus, Chaos, Aquas, we will be going with the second definition, which is the slang. I'll move myself over here so you see what I'm talking about. So we're looking for the Bakugan that is... You know what? I'm just going to do the rest of it like ASMR just because I think that'll be fun. So we're looking for the Bakugan that is the most attractive. Now, to find out what is the most attractive Bakugan, let's look at other similar brands and IPs that are considered or have iconic, attractive characters. First off, let's talk about Digimon. Here are 3 iconic Digimon characters that have been seen as attractive. We have Angelwoman, Renamon, and Leomon. Oop. Digimon are wild. You can have one that just looks straight up like women and some that just look up like straight up cats. And people will find them all attractive. And I'm not one to judge. I'm talking about Bakugan. Next up is Pokemon. Here we have the classics. Some new, some old. All with varying levels of attractiveness. Gardevoir, Baneri, Mewtwo. The Fox one. Machoke, Lucario, Salazzle, Incineroar. All of these guys. Why Pokemon make them so hot? Pokemon, Nintendo, Game Freak. Why do you make these Pokemon so hot? It keeps me up at night. Why are these Pokemon so hot? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. What makes these guys hot? They're anthropomorphic, obviously. So we can relate to them on a human level. Obviously, Incineroar and I think like Fennekin something, they're fire Pokemon. But again, we're not focusing on the literal term of hot. And obviously, Ditto. So let's look at our first subject. This is Pyrus Dragonoid, main character of the Bakugan series, or sort of kind of the mascot, the partner to the main character Dan Kuzo. In both anime, the reboot, and the Legacy series. We have some designs from the Legacy series. That the top left one being his first design. This one being his first design, and this one being one of his later to last designs. This is a lot more anthropomorphic, so I can understand the attraction there. And for fairness, I included his design from the reboot series, but this is weirdly pixelated. I don't know why. He's got big thighs, though. Why's he got big thighs? Next subject. Look at this. Why is this a Bakugan? This is just straight up a woman. Surprise, it's a big fish. Now, sadly, this is a anime-only Bakugan, never released in a toy form, but that is a woman, so varying levels there. Next up, let's talk about Marucho. Now, Marucho is one of the original and continuously one of the main characters in the Bakugan series, and he is normally attributed to the Aquas type Bakugan, and he just keeps getting the lookers, man. Look at all these Bakugan. What is going on with them? Why are they all so hot? And none of these could compare to his original partner. The creme de la creme of Bakugan. My pitch for the most attractive Bakugan. Preus. Aquas Preus from the original Season 1 of Bakugan. If you need any more convincing, I've included a video. If you need any more than that, he can also be your angle or your devil. And with that, I'm done with my presentation. I would have included more new reboot Bakugan, but they're all kind of they go for more of a tech vibe, and I don't know, I'm not really into that. Here's some that I considered, but I wanted to focus on the Legacy series, because that's probably what more people are most familiar with. Anyway, thanks for watching. Also, I don't know anymore. This was so weird.
Lovely. Okay. I think we should be good there. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Currently,
Hello.
while you are watching this, it is Wednesday, May 19th.
My dudes.
So,
Ah!
time.
Thanks. Keeps
Thank-
on slipping.
Thank you for joining us. This is the this is our PowerPoint presentation milestone recording, and we hope you enjoy it. As of right now, Chris has yet to join the call, but hopefully he'll jump on a little bit later. If not, then maybe sometime later he'll do it for us on stream. Who knows? But for the yeah, right.
By himself.
Let that be the prime.
We'll run 10 minutes over one Tuesday.
Yes, that would be amazing. Yeah. So again, this is all thanks to everyone's generosity for our month of March charity drive that we did with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And so we're just very thankful again for all your help. And this is us goofing off and sharing that with y'all as well. Does anyone have anything to add, or I think have we decided the order yet?
We have
No,
not
we've
decided
not.
the order.
So we can-
Keep in mind, I think at least 50% of us, well, there's an uneven number of people here, but regardless, made these presentations within the last 24 hours.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Did any
I
of
think
us
it's
not do that?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's 100% of us.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
100% of us. That is at least 50%. I'm not technically wrong, but
So
yeah, keep that in mind. It should be very fun.
Agreed.
let me actually describe a little bit about what Let me explain a little bit about what a PowerPoint party even is, just because this is going to be its own recording. Basically, it is just a group of friends who get together and create PowerPoint presentations about something they care a lot about, something they think is funny, something that they just really anything that they do for about 8 to 12 minutes. Afterwards, you do Q&A, you heckle each other. The whole point of this is to be kind of fun. Sometimes people channel like Brian David Gilbert energy. Sometimes I channel like personally like librarian energy for some reason. I'm going to try to be funny today, but we'll see. So, you don't have to take notes. You're not going to be tested on this later.
That's not true. They might not be tested on yours, but I will make sure to test you in chat if you pay attention to mine.
All right.
I won't actually do that.
Okay. And if you haven't figured that out already, the whole point of this is to be pretty chaotic. So hence it being totally fine that all of us have made our presentations within the last 24 hours. Some of us all extremely sleep deprived. I won't name names, but perhaps they'll self-identify.
It's me.
There you go. Or are we wanting to roll a dice to see who goes first?
I got one.
Sure.
One right here.
Are we picking numbers, or are you just...
I am 3.
I am 2.
I'll be 6.
Will be 4
That makes Dustin 1.
or 5.
5.
I'll pick 5, and then if I roll a 1, I'll just re-roll. That way it's
There
that
you
easy.
go.
All right. So, and it's 5. Great.
All right, baby, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
All right. Hang on a minute. Let me just
I can sit down.
unfull screen this thing. Hello? So, there we go. Okay. So I've never used Zoom before. Oh, I guess these presentations brought to you by Zoom. Just
Yeah, we are doing things a little bit differently. Usually we use Discord, but for the sake of this, we are using Zoom. this
Yes, for the sake of this, we're using Zoom.
Okay.
And
Are
no,
we good?
I'm not shifting my camera. It's too much work. So yeah,
week.
I'm
Gaming
gonna-
icons.
Yeah, you were saying
Okay,
that Saul, that you may have wanted to go first, but it's too late.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
well, yeah. Like he also decided in the last second. He was a little nervous about it.
I was.
All right.
I am.
I'm okay.
I got
with
a
it.
little like when Dustin was rolling, I was just like, oh, I don't want to go first.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
Yeah.
and then-
Then you all should have said something because I said I was fine going first. Luckily, my die heard that, so
right.
I felt it in the heart of the die.
Well, I'm going to mute myself now, and Dustin, take it away.
Okay. So again, it may take me just a second to make sure that I have everything set up here. I actually have a timer in the lower left-hand corner, thanks to Live Split. So shout outs to Live Split, which is usually done for speed running. So as soon as I actually start, I will start the timer. But yeah, so welcome you guys, and here we go. Okay, so as you can see, the title of my presentation is Gaming Icons, Episode 1. I figured that this is going to be my first PowerPoint party, so I thought I'd go with something a little close to home, and I thought maybe I would want to do something similar in the future, so I decided to put Episode 1 on there, just so, in the future I can remember which came first and that sort of thing. So, Gaming Icons, Episode 1, of course, we're going to start with the classic Super Mario. Super Mario has an iconic character design. He's so easily recognizable. He's a lovely red. He's very simple. People can easily draw him if they wish. He's got the red hat with the M on it, just in case you're wondering who he is. The mustache is always very, very nice and very easily remembered, essentially. His design is just very, very nice. He's actually saved the gaming industry single-handedly, not once, but twice. Once with the Donkey Kong Country, or not Donkey Kong Country, but Donkey Kong arcade machine, where he first appeared, his very first appearance, named Jumpman at the time, saved just games in general because they were getting ready to die. And the second time with the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Mario Brothers, when everybody was so sure that the at-home market was going the way of the dodo. It was dying. It was useless. So they were going to get rid of it. But because of the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System and the video game Super Mario Brothers, which is still one of the highest selling games ever, people started jumping back into it. And now you have things like PS5 and gaming PCs and the Nintendo Switch. He has multiple cartoon series, 2 of them, in fact. There's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show 3, or Super Mario Brothers 3 Super Show, which is, I guess, based on the third Super Mario Brothers game more so. They look very similar, in all honesty, and they might as well just be multiple seasons of the same show, but hey, they're listed as different series, so that's what I did. Makes you wonder why they never made a movie. Weird. Anyway, Mario is one of the most recognized mascots in the world for literally anything. People know who Mario is. I think now the only more recognizable character is Pikachu. Other than that, if you show someone a picture of Mario, they know who Mario is. It doesn't matter their age or their background. They've heard of Super Mario. So he has raced karts, he's fought in fighting games, and of course all the platforms in the world. He's been a carpenter, he's been a plumber, and most recently he's been labeled as an adventurer. But do you know about Mario's dark past? Psych! Welcome to Gaming Icons Episode 1, why the Super Mario Brothers movie is not as bad as you remember. Here we go. We're going to start by talking about some of those characters, baby. Going to start with President Bowser Koopa. Look at that man. He is super cool. He's an amazing example of lawful evil. One of the best in cinema, in my personal opinion. He knows the law, he creates the law, and he abides by his own rules. That is classic lawful evil. Later on, something does happen to him that explains why he goes a little crazy and goes a little more chaotic, and that's when he becomes more of a primal being. But at the beginning, he is one of the most classic examples of lawful evil. He is skeezy. He is super easy to hate, which this is a children's movie, remember? So villains need to be that. Children need to know this is the bad guy. Nuance doesn't have to be in every single movie ever, and President Bowser Koopa is a wonderful example. Maybe a little too realistic depiction of possible world leaders that we anyways. He was also played really well by the late great Dennis Hopper. He is, to me, one of the prime examples of why this movie is actually honestly pretty good. Like, go back and watch it for real. You also have Princess Daisy. She broke the mold of the always peach stereotype. She's a smart girl. She ran an entire archaeological dig site by herself. She was in charge of the whole thing. She fought against mobsters Like she stood up to mobsters in order to get to the bottom and keep history safe. She's also the start of the Daisy's a love interest for Luigi, which a lot of Luigi fans really like that. She's just a very good character. I really enjoyed her in this game or in this show. It wasn't her first appearance, Princess Daisy. Princess Daisy originally appeared in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, but hey, you know, what are you going to do? Then you have Big Bertha, who's one of my personal favorite characters of this movie. She is a powerful Black woman who saves the day in the end. She owns her sexuality and she's super confident, unafraid. She is just a beautiful big Black woman, and she knows how to work what she has. She is honestly, I want a character, just a movie all about her. Like I would watch that movie. And all this, she was based on a fish, a video game fish is where she came from. So she ends up saving the day in the end with the Mario Brothers by giving them these special boots that allow them to do their super mega hyper jumps, which is pretty great. And she is not afraid. She does her job really well. So yeah, I really like Big Bertha. And you know, that's just something that these three characters to me are really good because they differentiate themselves from the typical. Obviously there's Mario and Luigi Mario, the Mario brothers, who I've not got a slide dedicated to because they're the Mario brothers. Of course they're cool. You know, like that they're great. And this is also the first time where they actually gave personality to the Mario brothers. Later on, Luigi would continue to develop as the cautious one, and Mario would be the more brash one, which kind of switches them from the movie. But you know, hey, this is where it all began. Let me tell you. Let's talk about the plot for a second. I got a plot summary ready to go, but it's on a different screen. You don't get to see it. I get to see it. Take my word for it. So it starts off, right, with Daisy being left on the church's doorstep. She is raised, she's left by her mom in a universe that is not her own. She meets the Mario Brothers at a payphone in Manhattan, of all places. This is also a place that established the Mario Brothers as being plumbers from Brooklyn. Which is, you know, pretty cool to me. They're not just some magical characters from a magical land of the Mushroom Kingdom. They're from Brooklyn. She and Luigi go on a date. They really hit it off, and it's through a lot of care from Mario. Mario and Luigi really show a sibling bond here, even though they kind of portray Mario as more of the father figure in Luigi's life, because I guess their parents, you know, they passed away as well, and so they were kind of raised as orphans, and Mario always looked out for Luigi as the older twin. So you know, after the awesome date with Luigi and Daisy, the double date with Mario and his girlfriend at the time, they get kidnapped and taken into another world, another universe, an alternate universe where it wasn't apes that evolved, but dinosaurs that evolved. Now, of course, there is a suspension of disbelief here in that the dinosaurs still evolved to look like people, but hey, you know, that's fine. It's called a movie, you see, and fake things happen in movies sometimes. So you have to, you know, suspend your disbelief is what they call it. But they call the city Dino Hatton, which to me is just clever. Get it? Instead of Manhattan, it's Dino Hatton. Pretty funny. We get introduced to the crooked politician, President Koopa, who has recently won an election after the king of Mushroom Kingdom was turned into mushrooms through an unknown. Who knows how that happened? We know it was Koopa. Koopa did it. Spoiler alert, I guess. But he wants to join the dimensions together because since he became the ruler, they've used up all of the natural resources and their planet is going to die. So they want to join, you know, everything together. And so they're going after Daisy's pendant. Daisy has a little pendant that's a part of a meteorite that causes everything to merge together. The Mario Brothers go on all kinds of wacky misadventures. They run from the cops, ACAB. They you know, do all sorts of crazy slapstick comedy, which to me is really funny if you go back and watch it for real. Bowser has this de-evolution machine which threatens to de-evolve the creatures. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make it back to our world and devolve all of the humans back into monkeys and kill us all, which is very scary. He himself gets put into it and it reverts him back to a more primal mindset. And you can see the morphology of him going from lawful evil to a more chaotic evil as his primal self takes over, which is really, you know, again, it's pretty cool. So they do in fact lose the pendant, and it's pretty scary for a while. Bowser technically succeeds in his plan, or at least the start of it, but they're able to cheat and pry the piece back out of the meteorite. You may have heard of the monkey meme, which actually came from this movie. Toward the very end, when Bowser shoots someone with a de-evolution gun and turns them into a monkey. There's an ultimate fight with King Koopa as a T-Rex as he devolves physically into this Tyrannosaurus Rex. Mario uses the NES gaming accessory, the Zapper, which turned into the evolution gun. I've hit 10 minutes now, by the way, just so you all know. Turned into a massive, so he gets devolved into this big pile of goop. One of the craziest things about this is that after the credits, there was an after credits scene way before Marvel did it. Take that, Marvel. You weren't first. The Mario Brothers did it. They beat you to it. In fact, there are 2 after credits scenes, as well as deleted scenes that add to the movie's lore to explain a lot of plot holes that people have a problem with about this movie. So, all in all, this is a great movie. Go watch it. Is it like the best movie? Is it a masterpiece? Absolutely not. It's hilariously bad sometimes. But honestly, that's okay. This is a great movie to watch with your friends. It does not deserve the hate that it gets. It's worth a great laugh. Grab some popcorn, grab some friends, go watch this movie together. Thank you so much. This is why the Mario Brothers movie is not as bad as you remember it being. Thank you. I'll now
Very good.
Incredible.
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 Did I catch you off guard with my
Fantastic.
topic?
You did. You're so good at twists, Dustin.
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions? Any comments, concerns, emotional outbursts?
Did you just rewatch the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I watched it back in February.
Oh wow. Okay.
Would you like us to do a Turntables RPG rewatch of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
We absolutely should.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it legally available to stream anywhere?
Probably not.
Actually, I think it is because I think
I know the Mario cartoon is on Netflix at the
Nice.
very least.
I think the Mario movie's on YouTube, like legally now,
Oh wow.
because nobody wanted to keep the thing to it. But I'll find out.
Are there any at the time maybe like small name actors who became big later on in life?
John Leguizamo
Oh, okay.
starred as Luigi. This was before he really hit it super big, but for the most part, not really. But like him as Luigi, I think is pretty big. There are a lot of big name actors in it. Bob Hoskins was a great Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story that Bob Hoskins was actually drunk for almost the entirety of the filming of this movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
As one would have to be, yes.
Maybe. Oh man.
That's great.
I was so funny watching this presentation just because as soon as you did the twist, Saul like stood up out of his chair. He was so excited.
I was hoping to have that little soft lead in, and then just boom, there it was. Pull a Brian David Gilbert twist on you there.
Definitely.
Very good.
All right.
Okay.
So are we rolling for who's next?
My total time was 11 minutes 19 seconds.
Nice.
All right.
I was about to start heckling you, so you're lucky. You're lucky I felt gracious today.
I saw you getting close to the mic.
I did too. That's why I started talking louder and faster.
So you should
How do
stop
I-
screen sharing, and then we should roll for the next one, unless somebody is really aching to go next.
I got the die. Let's go. Remember your numbers. I'm rolling.
4.
It's 6.
Damn. Oh wait. Are we going with the numbers that we had originally? Because I was
I think
6.
Yes.
I did.
So
That's
you're number 6.
Okay, so then I'm next. Okay.
I'm
All
so
right.
excited.
Give me a moment to get it set up, and then I will.
Y'all are in for
Okay.
a treat with this one, just because Saul's got a whole thing planned.
He does. He's got like the big thing. In the meantime, go ahead and ask questions in chat. I see some very good ones going on in there, so keep asking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see me? Okay.
I love this so
Okay.
much.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and start.
Oh,
that
hold
time.
on. Let me start your timer
Oh.
real quick.
I'll
Oh
wait.
yeah, I can do the same thing.
I'll wait until
All right.
Okay, perfect.
I can't. I don't want to heckle anybody, but I'll do it if I have to.
As soon as you start, I'll start the timer. The next word out of your mouth, I'm starting the timer.
Okay, so thank you for joining for my PowerPoint party. It is in 2 parts, but this first part, it is important for us to understand Martin Scorsese's definition of cinema. So back in 2019, October 2019, he went on record on an Empire interview talking about how the Marvel movies weren't cinema. It's caused this huge hubbub, and it caused him, or the New York Times reached out, and a month later he wrote an article about like what really was his definition of cinema. And so that's what we're using today to kind of like to really hone in on what a historic filmmaker's definition of cinema is. So as we move forward, let's there we go. So, first quote. Cinema is an art form that brings you the unexpected, right? So let's keep that in our minds. Brings you the unexpected and is an art form. Second, it was about confronting the unexpected on the screen and in the life it dramatized and interpreted, and enlarging the sense of what was possible in the art form. Okay, so unexpected art form. Next. Cinema was about revelation, aesthetic, emotional, and spiritual revelation. It was about characters, the complexity of people and their contradictory and sometimes paradoxical natures, the way that they can hurt one another and love one another and suddenly come face to face with themselves. So, in this one, we've got revelation. So, as we push forward, we break down Scorsese's definition of cinema into 3 parts: art form, the unexpected, and revelation. So art form. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines art as the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. Using the dictionary definition above, we can look at something objectively and say that it's art because skill was used in it, creative imagination went into it, and it's into the production of an aesthetic object. Now, subjectively, everyone will have their own opinions and filters and I'm mirrored. Filters, experiences, etc., that define whether subjectively they view it as art. Now, remember that objectively, the definition is use of skill and conscious imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. Moving on, the unexpected. I'm going to move this gallery view over here. There we go. The unexpected. The most obvious cinematic example of the unexpected would be a plot twist. Though it could be relegated to means of filming, the staging of a scene, an actor's portrayal of a character, etc. Those who have worked on creative endeavors such as films can almost always recount a moment in which the unexpected enriched the project. No spoilers ahead, but in the movie Arrival back in 2016 is one of the best examples of the unexpected because of the way that it's written and edited in a purposeful manner to enhance the unexpected plot twist at the end. I definitely recommend everyone to watch it if you haven't already. Really great movie, and unexpected. Now, the unexpected is something that can be as simple as a plot twist in a story and as complex as a revelation, which leads into our next part, revelation. So I'm not going to say everything that Scorsese says because it takes a lot of time, but essentially what it says: aesthetic and emotional and spiritual revelation through the complexity and paradoxical natures of people, the characters. Excuse me. As the stories shared through the cinematic experience unfold, aspects of ourselves are revealed to us. What makes us laugh, what makes us cry, what scares us, what inspires us, etc. Some of the most kismet moments in cinema are when the characters in the film and the audience watching realize something about themselves at the same time. Beautiful. Chef's kiss. So, the conclusion of part 1. Once again, using Martin Scorsese's definition of cinema, we've discussed the main aspects of his definition and keyed into 3 specific pillars that will take us into part 2. So part 1. Objectively, art is defined as the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic projects. 2. The unexpected can be as simple as a plot twist in the story and as complex as a revelation to oneself, whether within the film or outside of it. Third, cinema should enable a character in a movie and the audience watching to realize something about themselves, and in its highest form, this happens at the same time. So, we press forward. At the conclusion of part 1, we have Martin Scorsese's definition of cinema and why it dictates that the Goofy Goober rock scene from the 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie is true cinema. Now, as we press forward, let's think about, again, what Martin Scorsese has said about cinema. Let's remember the first pillar, art form. Okay, objectively, art is defined as the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of these aesthetic objects, correct? And so, we press forward and we see nearly 600 people are credited at the end of the movie. It's 591 to be exact. They signed contracts and spent months using their skills and conscious imagination to produce this aesthetic object. Art. Cinema. Let's see if I can get my finger there. Yes. Moving on. Let's remember the second pillar, the unexpected. The unexpected can be as simple as a plot twist in the story, as complex as a revelation to oneself, whether within the film or outside of it, right? So, the two unexpected aspects of this scene. One, the acceptance that being a kid can't stop you from doing incredible things. And the second, winning through the power of rock and roll. Two unexpected aspects within this scene that cohesively move in together. Now we think about the third pillar of cinema by critically acclaimed filmmaker and director Martin Scorsese. Revelation. Cinema should enable a character in a movie and the audience watching to realize something about themselves. In its highest form, it happens at the same time. So the revelations within the Goofy Goober rock scene are twofold. One, the acceptance that being a kid can't stop you from doing incredible things. Fabulous messaging for children, the main demographic at the time of its release. Two, pertinent in today's age due to the societal pressures and hegemonic norms that infantilize an adult's interest in animated works or pop culture. And the revelation that it doesn't matter what others think. All that matters is how you think of yourself. And then finally, the last part, winning through the power of rock and roll is the best way to win. Done. Let's see here. Lastly, Martin Scorsese has helped us realize why the Goofy Goober rock scene from the 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie is true cinema. But it's also home to what I believe is to be the best line of all cinema.
These chops are too righteous! The helmets can't handle this level of rock and roll!
And I can't tell you the joy that brings me. But I know through the definitions given to you by critically acclaimed filmmaker and director Martin Scorsese that the Goofy Gooby rock scene from the 2004 SpongeBob SquarePants movie is true cinema. Thank you. That's supposed to be a gif of SpongeBob swinging off the ceiling, but virtual background just doesn't work that way. So that is the end of my presentation. Questions?
Beautiful, phenomenal, truly life-changing.
Dustin Hacker, Turntables RPG.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Do you agree with Martin Scorsese that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not, in fact, cinema?
That is a great question, Dustin. I'll probably need another PowerPoint presentation to talk about that. But what I will say right now is that art is subjective, and if we look at the objective definition of an art form, it is art, and therefore cinema. Next question.
You really did all this shit in like 1 hour?
2 hours.
That was really good, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was enraptured by that.
Thank
That was
you.
really solid.
Beautiful.
Half of it is all Martin Scorsese's words. So,
That's fine. You applied it very well.
This is less of a question and more of a statement, but I remember I probably saw a lot of movies in theaters in my youth. The only one I can remember is this one.
Hell
and
yeah.
I remember at the end of this movie, at the end of this scene, just in awe in my seat, like
True.
thinking that that was just the coolest shit I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. So I am really glad that per Martin Scorsese's definition of cinema, that it's
Yes.
you know, that it
Was
fits.
that 10 minutes right there?
That was 10 minutes right there.
I told you I got to talk
Pretty
fast.
good. Pretty
It
good.
was pretty good. Pretty
Yeah.
good timing.
Yes. And so the first time I watched this movie was actually at my uncle's house in Mexico, and it was like way after the theatrical release. It was like on a DVD, and I remember watching that part, the specific part where he just like explodes into song, and I was like, it shifted something in me, like inside of me, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like if I could win everything through the power of rock and roll, that's what I would do. So
It's
yeah.
incredible. Like it really, like, because it's the admission of like, yes, the villain is right, but he is wrong, and that it makes me powerless. It makes me powerful, and it's like that. Yeah, I mean, everything you said is just, it's an amazing fucking scene.
To me, that scene itself is like the pinnacle of SpongeBob. Just
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
like it, I don't think that SpongeBob could ever reach that height again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Well, thank you for listening.
Beautiful.
Please catch me at next year's PowerPoint party.
We'll assume we'll have to wait a year.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna sit down now.
Please.
Oh.
Tucker
Roll it
out.
on.
All right, Dustin, roll it.
All right.
Hold on, remember your number. 3.
That's me.
Oh
All
boy.
right.
Let me pull that baby up.
Oh boy.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm worried.
All right, let me just make sure. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yes.
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 Okay,
Okay.
I think it's, there we go.
Oops, predicaments abound. All right.
let me. Okay, all right, okay.
Hang on. All right. Yeah, the next words you say, I'm starting the timer.
Okay. So let me discuss with all of you animals where they don't belong. Subtitle: Oops, predicaments abound. Now you may be thinking, Masha, I've seen this before. Internet memes, cats with bread on their faces, dogs really uncomfortable in outfits, but unfortunately, that's not what we're going for today. Now I have to give the caveat that I'm going to be talking about invasive species, which typically is like not the most exciting topic of conversation because at their core, invasive species do harm to the environments that they are invasive to. But you just have to bear with me. I am trying to bring attention to a very important issue in a comical and humorous way. So, animals in predicaments, baby. Cane toads. These babies are from South and Central America. However, this might be actually the most commonly known example of, uninvasive species being somewhere that it's not supposed to be. So where did they go? Eric, where are cane toads now that they really shouldn't be?
They're just all over the fucking place. I think, probably.
So, most notably, they are actually in Australia, which, as you know, is an island, technically. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, frogs, toads, usually not a fan of seawater, so someone had to bring them there. And you are, in fact, correct. Cane toads in Hawaii were used to eat beetles that would eat sugarcane. And so Australian folks were like, all right, we've got a beetle problem. We're going to bring these bad boys over. They brought over 105 toads, and then they grew homegrown 62,000 toadlets that they released a couple of years later. However, this was a fucking massive failure because it was too hot during the day for cane toads to hang out and actually eat the beetles. And not only that, but the beetles would hang out at the top of sugarcane. And if you've ever met a toad, they're not very good at climbing. So these creatures that can travel up to 37 miles in a year are now in an estimated 200 million population. They're just fucking there. They don't belong there, but they're there. On to the next one. Burmese pythons, believe it or not, belong in Southeast Asia, but kind of strange. They've ended up in a somewhat unlikely location. So Dustin, where did these Burmese pythons go?
I'm going to guess South America.
Close, but not quite. We actually now have a population of Burmese pythons in Florida because, of course.
Southern America.
So how did they get there? The exact reasoning of how they got there is actually kind of unknown, but a breeding population was discovered to be there by the 1990s, most likely caused by people getting a reptile and then realizing that when reptiles eat food, they get really fucking big. So there are a lot of pythons now in the Everglades. Predicament, man. You got fucking snakes in the wrong place. Hippos. Where do hippos belong? They belong, most importantly, in my heart, because look at their chunky little faces. I love them very dearly, and also in Africa. But hippos have actually ended up in a very, very unlikely situation. Hey, Saul, where do you think that these hippos ended up?
India?
Nope. They're in fucking Colombia.
Damn it.
How did they get to Colombia? Well, Pablo Escobar, the king of cocaine, purchased 4 hippos in the 1970s. When he passed away, they were let loose. There are now about 80 to 100 hippos just fucking around in Colombia. That's a fucking predicament right there. Scientists still don't know their full impact on the environment, and nobody knows quite yet what to do with them. So right now, they're just vibing. Parrots. Parrots belong, once again, in my heart, I do love birds, and in all tropical and subtropical continents and regions. Makes sense. Where are they that they really don't belong? Hey, Mars.
They're like everywhere, and also, yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. So everywhere, I mean, everybody loves having them as pets, but most notably, they have found their ways into the urban jungles of Southern California. There are now populations that can completely sustain themselves, and they hang out in like fucking Long Beach, which, I mean, is prime real estate. Who wouldn't want to live right by the ocean? How the fuck did they get there? Well, it's expected that yet again that they were kind of released from the pet trade, which again, understandable. People realize that they are bad at taking care of animals. And so they're like, be free into the nature. And then they kind of create their own colonies. But what I find is most fascinating is there are actually 6 species of parrots and 7 species of parakeets, all with their own conglomerates in California. And let me tell you, they're fucking loud when you do come across them. There is actually a California Parrot Project, which I think is really cool. Just a group of people who have come together to study the range of these animals in California, and like you can report sightings and all of that. And yeah, they're just vibing. This is quite possibly one of my favorite examples. The American bison, they exist through various parts of North America. A lot of times their populations are kind of controlled by like native peoples. I think I've called on all of you. And to be fair, I'm just gonna tell you where this one is. Where did they end up? Well, there are a group of islands off the coast of California called the Channel Islands that are well known for having a lot of really wonderful native species. But look at a bison, which by the way, the scientific name is bison. And if you look at some of the subspecies, you could get bison, which the biologists, sometimes they just fucking give up. You also have gorilla, but those are not bison. You might think to yourself, how did these big boys, these big chonky honkers with lots of fuzz on them, get to an island off the coast of Southern California? Well, in the 1920s, either director William K. Howard for The Thundering Herd or Zane Grey for The Vanishing American brought over a few of them for a movie. And at the end was just like, how am I gonna put them back? So he just didn't. Now, there are about 150 native roaming bison to Catalina Island that are maintained by the Catalina Island Conservancy. And at the end of 2020, they actually announced that they would be introducing 2 pregnant females to bolster the genetics of the group because they're not particularly purebred. So not only are they now part of Catalina Island, but they're actually trying to keep them there and keep them there in a healthy way. Switching gears a little bit, I would like to talk about someone named Eugene, who I really don't fucking trust. And let me tell you, I don't trust anyone named Eugene, not anymore. Because of Eugene, last name, president of the American Acclimatization Society. So for a period of time, bringing species from one place to another was not only recognized as like, they didn't know that it was a bad thing to just be like, hey, fuck it, we're gonna bring these animals from one place to another. It was actually promoted. So the American Acclimatization Society intentionally sought to bring over flora and fauna from Europe in the late 1800s for both economic and cultural reasons, because of course they did. And this happened with like varying degrees of success. But Eugene, oh dear Eugene, not only was he an absolute moron, he was also a simp for Shakespeare. This man read Shakespeare's works, and he was like, you know what? This guy, this fucking dude talks about all of these birds. What if I try to bring all of Shakespeare's birds to the States? Introducing the European Starling, which, mind you, is a bird that appears in Henry IV, Part 1, when one of the characters is just like, I am going to drive this king mad by teaching these birds to repeat the name of, I think, his wife over and over again. So Eugene, again, moron, simp for Shakespeare, was like, yeah, these annoying motherfuckers, let's release a couple of hundred of them into New York City. And that's what he did. Not only are these birds an absolute goddamn fucking nuisance, there are now more than 200 million of them between Alaska and Mexico. I don't know, man. Just to each their own, I guess. So now what? Science is a liar sometimes. We are learning new things about science every day, right? At some point in history, we were like, hey, bringing species to new places, totally cool. In fact, it'll be good for the economy and society. We know now that that is not a good thing. So I implore all of you to go forward with this knowledge. And if someone is just like, hey, I've got this native species and I think that you should just have it and I think you should let it loose into your hometown, you look them in the eyes and you tell them no. You tell them that it's a bad idea and that you won't do it and that you're not a simp. You're not a simp. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Tommy, 9.5 minutes.
Incredible.
Nice. Masha,
Don't be a simp. Don't release.
I really don't want to be a simp. If somebody comes up to me with an invasive species and wants to give it to me, is there like an actionable thing that I can do at that time, like somebody I call to get that species back to where it belongs?
A lot of the time, if someone is trying to give you an animal and you feel like that what they're doing is wrong, you can probably call like a local wildlife center and just say, hey, someone's trying to give me a parakeet and they're telling me they're going to release it otherwise. Most of the time, if it's a species that, most of the time, an animal is not releasable into the wild because it has acclimated to a certain situation. And so your local experts will know best what to do. The unfortunate truth is in a lot of places with these invasive species, a lot of times the best thing you can do about it is just cull the population. Mm-hmm. I know in Florida, I don't know if it's a once a year thing, I could be wrong. They actually let people go out and kill those pythons in whatever number they want, often offering prizes for whoever can like get the most of them in a short period of time. I actually have a friend who is doing her master's degree, potentially PhD, in Florida, who is researching these guys, and in part that research involves chipping the mom pythons to bring them back to their nests so that they can first eliminate the nest of eggs and then eliminate the mother, because it doesn't matter if you get rid of the mom if there are about to be like 40 new babies that are about to go, and it actually, again, the sad part of all of this is that it like decimates native populations. Yeah, and I don't know if anyone caught it, but in my picture of the cane toads, I can find it again. That is a purse, a coin purse made out of a cane toad. So one of the things that folks in Australia have done is like make little trinkets and things out of them. Again, grotesque and sad, and the vast majority of times that a species is invasive, it is an unintentional thing by humans. Maybe someone ends up stowing away in a suitcase or something, but these were instances where this was intentional and failed miserably.
Wasn't there briefly for a time a population of hippos in Louisiana?
I am uncertain, but I would not be surprised.
I think I read about that somewhere.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me as well.
Yeah.
Listen, you say that hippos belong in your heart, but they will murder you.
That's true.
Oh,
I know.
They are.
I know.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
So just the viewers out there, do not pet a hippo. Don't.
Yeah.
Like, you may be tempted. Don't.
Wasn't there somebody on the news, or like it was probably just on Twitter, but like somebody had like a pet hippo, and like the person's body went missing, like they went missing, and they found the body like mangled down the river like 3 days later. And the story was, what they ended up finding out was that he had gone into the water with the hippo for some reason, and the hippo did what it did. And
Don't do that.
Yeah.
This is sort of related to that, a live tiger was found in downtown Houston, just
Yeah.
loose, the other day. Yeah, I was talking to some friends of mine about it. I was just like, I cannot even like begin to imagine what I would be thinking if I saw a live tiger just on my front lawn.
I know what would happen with me. I'd poop myself. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what would happen. Sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess my closing statement here before we move on to the next presentation is that keep in mind that this is not the fault of the animals in a lot of cases. Be mad at Eugene. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Okay.
On to the next.
Eric, odds or
So-
evens?
There's I'm sorry?
Odd or even?
Even.
All right, it's 4, so you're going.
Okay. Oh boy. I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Let's see. Share screen. Oh, I gotta change this first. Make sure that this is the right thing. There we go.
Oh.
And share. Okay. All right.
Cute.
Can you all see my
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute myself, but yes.
screen? Okay. Cool.
I don't know. I have to look up who this is real quick. Or will you
Okay.
give us an introduction?
I will give you an introduction to
Okay.
what's the deal with Tom Bombadil?
What-
Like, what the
wait.
fuck?
Wait.
Oh,
right.
sorry. That's right.
You're the next words that you say, I'm starting the time.
So, my name is Eric Barbara. This is my presentation. What's the deal with Tom Bombadil? Like, what the fuck? So, to begin, what we'll be covering, Tom Bombadil as a character. He is, for the uninitiated, an incidental character who shows up towards the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. So we'll talk about Tom Bombadil as a character reflected in Tolkien's descriptions of him, his place in Middle Earth at large, what he says about himself versus what other characters say about him, the significance of location in Middle Earth, and like specifically where Tom lives versus other characters and how they're where they live reflects them. And then we are going to put it all together, what kind of picture we can paint about Tom Bombadil, what kind of what blanks we can fill in about him. So to begin, establishing the basics. So who is Tom Bombadil? Well, from the poem he appears in initially, he's a merry fellow, bright blue his jacket is and his boots are yellow. He's fat, he's friendly, he's gregarious. He lives in the Old Forest, capital O, capital F. It's a specific location. He is seemingly benevolent. He hops around and dances, and people generally seem to like Tom Bombadil. That is a picture of him there. Seems innocuous. Let's continue. In relation to others. So scant few actually know who Tom Bombadil is. This is kind of the first weird thing. Elrond, when they finally get to Rivendell, one of the oldest and greatest lore masters of the Third Age of Middle Earth, doesn't know really who he is. He does know a legend of someone named Iarwain Ben Adar, who might be the same person as Bombadil. We'll get more into that later. By his own account, Bombadil has lived in the Old Forest since before the hobbits came to the Shire. Despite this and their proximity, the hobbits have never heard of him. Meriadoc, or just Merry Brandybuck, one of the 4 halfling characters in Lord of the Rings, who has been to the Old Forest several times, has never even seen him. And mind you, the Shire was settled 1,400 years ago. So, in relation to others, continued. Gandalf seems to know more about Bombadil than he lets on. When Bombadil is brought up at the Council of Rivendell, when they are deciding in the movie, if you remember, or if you've read the book, when they are deciding who will take the ring to Mordor, someone brings up Bombadil as a candidate. It's like, hey, should Tom bring the ring to Mordor? Gandalf shoots it down like super quickly, saying like, oh, like I wouldn't trust Bombadil with it. He doesn't really care for such matters and yada, yada, yada. Before that, when they first meet Tom Bombadil, when Frodo and company run into him in Eriador, Bombadil implies that he heard that Frodo was coming from Farmer Maggot and from Gildor's elves, who Frodo had recently described in that conversation. But Maggot never knew Frodo was leaving the Shire. This is not something the two of them spoke about. And if Tom's was friends with Gildor, who is a servant of Elrond, Gildor is present at the Council of Rivendell. How is Elrond unaware of Gildor's buddy Tom? Okay, so moving on, let's talk about locations. Where someone lives in Middle-earth is often a reflection of who they are as a character. Powerful beings often imprint their nature onto their surroundings. Some examples: Sauron, terrible, evil, the Dark Lord of Middle-earth, lives in Mordor, which is craggy, covered in ash and rock. It has a large volcano that spews fire constantly. The other image we have here is Lothlorien, which is inhabited by several elves, and most notably Galadriel, who is very like regal and ethereal and beautiful, and her environment reflects that. So this is some audience participation. A question to you all. What do you think the most dangerous place in Middle-earth is? And you can answer at your leisure.
Is it going to be... Go for it, it's all.
No, go ahead, ask your question.
It's not a question, it's my answer. And my answer is going to be, I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be Tom Bombadil's house.
I was going to say Tom Bombadil's bad side, but yeah.
Austin?
No, yeah, the forest.
Yeah.
Ours.
Forest.
Okay, so there's several terrible places in Middle-earth. We've mentioned Mordor, of course. Let's see. The Bridge of Khazad-dûm and Moria is a very valid answer. The Swamps of the Dead is a very valid answer. The Sea of Rune, the halls of the dead Númenóreans who forsook Elendil and Isildur. Very dangerous places. If it's not the Old Forest, it's fucking up there. The Old Forest fucking sucks. It is populated by horns, which are they are sentient trees. They are not ents. Horns have these horns in particular have a particular hatred for people. They are positively murderous. The river Withywindle, which flows through the Old Forest, is considered by many to be strangely magical, if not downright cursed. And it is bordered to the east by the Barrow Downs, which is the final resting place for many men from the First Age. It is just goddamn riddled with ghosts and barrow wights and other terrible shit. This is all where Tom Bombadil lives. So talking about the people and things that live in the Old Forest. So again, the horns, sentient, slow-moving trees. In some references, they are tended to by ents, but there are no ents recorded ever being in the Old Forest. In specific, the one named horn character in The Lord of the Rings is Old Man Willow, which is a very old, very ancient willow tree that lives by the Withywindle River. In particular, he's very old and very malevolent. He's a root for much of the Old Forest's anger. We're not sure why he's angry. I don't believe it's ever discussed. He's just pissed off and old. He nearly strangles Merry and Pippin to death when they nap by his trunk, and Tom Bombadil is capable of lulling him to sleep with some of his song. If any of you have seen The Two Towers, this is echoed in a scene where Merry and Pippin are in Fangorn Forest and are nearly consumed by a tree there, but Treebeard takes the role of Bombadil in this instance and assuages the tree's anger in that case. So continued, the Badgerfolk. Badgerfolk are a thing in Lord of the Rings, a shock to everyone, myself included. They dwell in halls and burrows beneath the Old Forest. They are sentient. They are capable of speech. When Tom first arrived in the Old Forest, they tried to capture him. Like all other inhabitants of the Old Forest, however, they were frightened by the power of Tom's voice and freed him. This is something we'll see repeated. Next up is Goldberry, who is Tom Bombadil's wife. Yes, this man is marriage material. She is described as being the river's daughter, quite literally. She is never explicitly really stated to be, but very much considered a sort of fae-like entity. She's golden-haired, she has a beautiful voice. Likely a sort of river spirit tied to the aforementioned particularly strange and potentially cursed Withywindle River. The first time she met Bombadil, she tried to drag him into the river and drown him, drags him in by his beard, and the next day he asked to marry her. She describes Tom as the master of his domain. And then the Barrow-wights. Not much to say really, sometimes powerful undead entities, inherently dark and evil. Weak to light, only emerge during the night times. If they are bathed in sunlight, they are just destroyed instantly. And they exhibit a particular weakness to Tom Bombadil's song. One time they encounter Barrow-wights in the Old Forest, Tom basically just tells them to fuck off, and they do. No questions asked. So, Yarwain Benedar, let's talk about this. So, a quote from Tom Bombadil himself: "Eldest, that's what I am. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn. He knew the dark under the stars when it was fearless, before the Dark Lord came from outside." Outside with a capital O, Dark Lord, capitals D and L. Tom Bombadil, that is from The Fellowship of the Ring. Yarwain Benedar translates in Sindarin Elvish to oldest and fatherless. That is Tom Bombadil. And when he refers to the Dark Lord who came from outside, he's not talking about Sauron. He's talking about first known as Melkor, later colloquially as Morgoth, the first true Dark Lord of Middle Earth, who is basically their Satan figure. Tom Bombadil has existed in Middle Earth longer than the devil himself has walked its fields, and that is quite chilling. When Frodo asks Goldberry who Bombadil is, she simply replies, "He is," which is also a wild thing to say about someone, especially some dude who skips around and dances and argues with trees. In summary, Tom Bombadil is one of the oldest living beings in Middle Earth, quite likely being literally older than the sun and the moon. This is not an exaggeration. He lives in an ancient forest full of angry trees and a cursed river surrounded by spooky ghosts. While outwardly jolly and kind, seems to be somewhat duplicitous. He may lie about some things. Seemingly has the power to quell or diminish the evil within his domain, but either doesn't care or doesn't want to. So what does this all mean? So Tom's definitely evil, right? Well, maybe, but he could be a few things. The first thing we can conclude is that Tom Bombadil is no simple human. He's been alive assumably since the dawn of creation. He has a particularly special relationship with the natural world, having apparently been around since its inception. When characters refer to Bombadil, like Gildor in the Council of Rivendell, they talk about him very elementally, like that he actually would likely be one of the last people to fall to Sauron in the event that Sauron wins, and that like the only reason he is capable of being defeated by Sauron is because Sauron is capable of sundering the hills themselves. Likewise, he has a strong power over the supernatural world and seems otherwise unaffected by it. Okay, so I'm going to cover like several theories about who Tom Bombadil is. These are several.
Are you
theories.
now?
I am.
You are?
I'm assuming I've been over 10 minutes. So like Gandalf and Saruman, Tom could be Maiar, which are basically angels that have been around since the dawn of time. The one caveat to this series is that while Maiar, like Gandalf and Saruman, are capable of being swayed by the One Ring's influence, Thompson's not interested.
You don't have to talk that fast. We're fine.
It's too bad. I know that I'm over time now.
I was going to give you till 12 minutes and then start.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're fine. Theory 2 is Music Man. I'm naming these arbitrarily myself. This theory speculates that Tom Bombadil is an embodiment of the music of the Ainur, which is the song that was made to create the world. Explain his timelessness and his affinity for song. The quote from him is that none has ever caught him yet, for Tom, he is the master. His songs are stronger songs, and his feet are faster. Just a quote I like from him. And this would ultimately separate himself from Old Man Willow, and having a different disposition than the Old Forest because he is older than the concept of evil at that point. Tom of the Secret Fire is the third one. My personal favorite. He is translated in Elven is the phrase Ea. And a quote from the Silmarillion, therefore Iluvatar gave to their vision. Iluvatar is God in this instance, and set it amid the void. And the secret fire was sent to burn at the heart of the world. It was called Ea. If Tom truly is Ea and he's tied to the secret fire, then he would contain the stuff of creation and be wholly unaffected by things like the One Ring. Theory honorable mentions, there's a lot of them. One, Tom is Father Time. Tom Bombadil is the first living being produced by the music of creation, therefore precluded from the concept of evil. Tom Bombadil is Tolkien. Tom Bombadil is you. Tom Bombadil is a living thought. Tom Bombadil is actually the true first Lord of Darkness before even Morgoth, and awaits the time when Sauron is destroyed to finally claim Middle-earth for himself and his evil tree buddies. Questions, comments? I know that was all quite a bit. I was speaking very quickly. So...
man.
Yeah, hello everyone. I love Tom Bombadil. He's a great character. He's very peculiar. He's very funny.
I mean, given that the series was written by J.R. Tolkien, who was a very, very, like, adamant Christian man, to use the term "he is" as just a description of someone is pretty...
they've actually people have brought that up in interviews before with Tolkien, and he said like he wasn't trying to parallel directly like a
Yeah.
I am that is sort of thing, like with the burning bush to Moses and all of that. But the parallel definitely exists, whether he
Yeah.
intended it or not. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very passionate about Lord of the Rings. I find it super interesting.
You
and,
are?
Yeah,
I
if you
never
haven't
would have
known, if you
guessed.
haven't known, if you know anything about me, that's probably it.
If Tom Bombadil could be of one of the Valar in disguise, who would he be? Who would
One
they
of the
be?
Valar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I don't fucking. None of them are like fucking weird. Like they're all just like I am an aspect of nature. I am the wind. I am the plants. I am the metals of the earth.
They're elemental, right?
Yeah,
Just like
I
how he
mean
is.
Tom Bombadil, like, you know, there's tons of theories, and I love the notion that he is just like some sort of elemental genius loci, like being of the world. I find that
Outside of outside of
Yeah.
the divinity, sure.
He's an element of chaos.
So then, would you be willing to speak a little bit about what possibly so in the we're all very familiar with Gandalf falling in Khazad-dûm and his
Yeah.
specific line about being a servant of the secret fire, and so would you be willing to speak a little bit about what you believe that means in relation to the theory that Tom Bombadil is actually Ea?
Yeah, so Secret Fire at base is sort of like the engine that Iluvatar used to create the world, sort of, and set it at its center. So it is sort of like, in my mind, the animate. I'm like going kind of blurry, but it is sort of the animating life force of the universe. Is my interpretation of it. It is just like pure creation, and so Tom Bombadil, if he is like an aspect of that because he is so of the world already. Is the concept of good or evil specifically, at the very least, because good and evil are very tangible things in this world. Evil doesn't affect him, and so the ring has no power over him. I think Gandalf actually in the Fellowship says like he might just like lose it and forget about it if he was tasked to bring it to Mordor. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure that this information already exists out there, but do you know why he was just like completely omitted from the films?
I think mostly it's a tonal thing, and I think a lot of the novel of the Fellowship is just getting out of the Shire. Like the first like third or half of it is just like getting the fuck out of the Shire, and he is like it's sort of a pit stop on their way to Rivendell, I believe. And yeah, he is kind of like a very weird tonal thing because he is like, they omitted pretty much all of the songs and whatnot from Lord of the Rings in the films. And Tom Bombadil is like nothing if not joyously singing and dancing. And it would be just a weird tonal thing to see like the ring wraiths chasing them. And then here's Tom Bombadil with his big blue coat and funny yellow boots.
And to be fair, Fellowship of the Ring takes long enough to get started as it is.
This is true.
Which, again, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. But
I can go to
of
this.
all of the movies, that is the one where I have to tell people,
Yeah.
just get through it. You'll love it. I promise. Like that is the one part.
Yeah. So
Nice.
And stuff.
that's Tom Bombadil.
Great job, Eric.
Thanks.
I am
guys.
Tom Bombadil, actually.
I would love that.
It's me.
I would love that.
I don't mean us in general. I just mean me specifically. I am Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. That's what you said. We got it.
It's great because I've like never seen like below your knees. So like you could just be wearing yellow boots all the time. So
Well,
Yeah. We wouldn't know. Show us your feet, Dustin.
maybe don't actually.
Show us your feet, Dustin.
I usually charge for that. All right.
Oh,
All right.
All right. Mars picked Otter or
I
Evil.
don't.
Odds. Odds.
Odds. Oh, it's 3. Yep, you're up.
Oh man. All right. Now that we've learned a lot of really interesting information about, the world of Lord of the Rings, and learned a lot about cinema and movies and stuff, and also invasive species. Let's do another complete tone shift as I try and pull this up.
Very excited.
I'll let you get set up, and then I will give you the countdown starter. Oh. Okay. I'm down. All right.
Great,
Yeah.
very good.
Man.
All right.
All right. Next thing you say, I'm starting the timer.
Pokemon, but they're frogs. It's more likely than you think, unless you know anything about Pokemon, in which case it's exactly as likely as you think. Pokemon are cool, but frogs are also cool. Boy, do I wish they were combined. Like this frog right here, he's on a motorcycle. That's cool. And this Pokemon right here has sunglasses. So imagine if the cool sunglasses guy and the frog motorcycle combined into something really incredible. Graphic design is my passion. There are great frog Pokemon. Like Poliwag, he's just a little guy. He's based off this tadpole, which has like a clear stomach skin and some fucked up looking intestines that make him look like he's got a little swirl on his stomach, just like Poliwag. And his name originates from the fact that some people call tadpoles pollywogs. He has a base friendship of 70. I do not know what that means, but I would like to be his friend. And he's just a little baby. You can tell he is older than the tadpoles in this photo because he's got little legs. Though traditionally, frogs get their arms before they get their legs, I believe. Yeah. But he's just a little baby. Poliwhirl is Poliwag 2. He has fists this time. He's the evolution of Poliwag. He's 3 feet tall. That's much bigger than many real life frogs. The biggest real life frog I can think of is only about a foot, and that's in roundness as opposed to height. In the Pokemon anime, Misty has a Poliwhirl. He can also have the ability damp. Frogs are damp in real life, so points to Nintendo for realism. Froakie. This is just your average frog. When you think of a frog, you might think of Froakie if you only know about Pokemon and not real life frogs. I like how he's waving. Most frogs are not that blue in real life, but some can be blue, like White's tree frogs, which are not white, but are named after some guy who was white, probably, and also is named White. Amazon milk frogs are pretty cool. They have blue mouths. I was going to put in some pictures, but I made this presentation 20 minutes before I was supposed to get on this call. Poison dart frogs can also be blue. Froakie is a starter from Pokemon X and Y. I would choose him. And 87.5% of Froakie are male. Palpitoad, he's incredibly lumpy. I have a shiny Pokemon, or shiny Palpitoad in Pokemon Sword that I got from a random trade. He evolves from Timpole, who is very cute, and you will be able to see on a later slide. Apparently, his lumps vibrate to make a noise. That's a weird sentence to say, but it's much like the throat pouch of many regular real life frogs that help amplify their sound when they're looking for mates. He's got a good shape. Bulbasaur, not a frog. When you look up lists of frog Pokemon, sometimes lists are like, Bulbasaur is a frog. He's not a frog. Clearly, he has scales. What are these little triangle things if not scales? His name also ends in "saur," which does mean reptile. Like dinosaur means terrible lizard. I think dinosaurs are great, not terrible. He is grass type, and all the other boys I have shown are water type. So, I don't think he's a frog. Here are more Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I got very stressed over choosing a topic, then switched to this at the very last minute. So this has been slapped together in 20 minutes. I hope it is absolutely as chaotic as I feel. Also, my Timpole picture was supposed to be on this slide right here, but it did not get included. Also, my old topic was in fact Yu-Gi-Oh related. So here are some Yu-Gi-Oh frog cards. I was going to buy the Totally Awesome Yu-Gi-Oh card, but it was like $15. The end.
That was everything.
This was the best way to end this
Yep.
ever.
I am slow clapping.
I'm so happy.
That was just so very good.
My favorite part is that on the Froakie slide, you misspelled Froakie every time except once.
Yep. I did not proofread this presentation, and it was very chaotic in making and Googling pictures, and the presentation title in my Google Slides is recipe book because that's the template I used.
Oh no.
But I hope you all enjoyed my very chaotic frog presentation. I got to talk about frogs and Pokemon for however long that was. It was probably pretty fast because I spoke very fast and didn't have much information. It also was meant to be a lot more informative, but then it just went into me rating them.
I liked it. It was great.
No,
what is your
really
favorite
good.
frog Pokemon?
My favorite frog Pokemon is Politoed. Politoed?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's just, I like his little shape. He's wonderful.
He's called
He's got the
Polytoad
little-
because he has more than one toe, unlike his previous evolutions, which only have feet.
That's true.
Does Poliwrath not count as a frog Pokemon?
I was supposed to put in Poliwrath where Poliwhirl is right now.
Yeah,
And then I messed it up because they look very similar.
they do.
Is the main difference that Poliwrath is just angy?
He has shoulders.
Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
He
And,
does
and
have
got
shoulders. He's
shoulders.
built.
Yeah.
The man is built here.
This
Here you
frog is
go.
jacked.
his swirl is different too.
Yeah. That's
Fair
my
enough.
frog. And also in the background I have my stuffed frog Boots and Pikachu to as a subtle hint that I was doing frog Pokemon themed.
Nice.
I think I've been sitting in front of them the entire time, but
Exceptional.
okay.
Very good.
Oh man.
I just want to
Wow.
point out really quick
Please go.
that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Frog archetype was actually super overpowered because of the card Totally Awesome.
Oh, it's
For
a
the
great
longest
deck.
time.
It's
Yeah.
it's an amazing build.
Yeah. So just in case you didn't know that, now you do. It's in there. And
Yeah.
this continues our streak of talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! At least once per whatever we do.
Yes.
I know.
my old topic I was gonna do is a plot summary of Yu-Gi-Oh based off someone who has never seen Yu-Gi-Oh but watches Turntables RPG every week. And it was just a little too chaotic. So I went with this, which is no less chaotic.
I think
But I do like all these frogs. Also, I have to set up screen sharing. I just now remembered that.
That's okay.
I just like looking at Beelzefrog. He's very good with his tiny wings.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
We did it.
That was exceptional.
a rousing
boy.
success.
Wow.
I would say.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
Oh man,
That's,
yes.
that's
I
the
have
whole.
too.
That's the whole.
I think runtime we're like probably like a little over an hour. So
That's pretty good.
yeah, for sure. I think we hope everyone enjoyed the PowerPoint presentations,
Yeah,
the
for
PowerPoint party.
real.
We all definitely did. Wow. I loved this. This was fun.
Yeah, we should definitely do this again.
Yeah, I think. At this point, actually, it is Wednesday, May 19th.
My
So,
dudes.
it is Wednesday, my dudes. Sydney's probably downstairs.
I was gonna say I love it. Like Sydney is just doing something completely normal, and here's scream.
She's heard me practice
top
it
of your
enough
line.
it's been a hot minute since I've done it, but I'm glad it came out okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, so thank you for joining us. I think our next milestone is actually this Saturday, May 22nd. So we hope to see you there. Again, follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and we'll be posting some more announcements about the improv night coming up, and that should be a lot of fun in and of itself. trying to think. And then I believe in the last week of May, we will be releasing Tiny Tables as well. And we got to play Metahuman Uprising with Dustin as our GM. And then we will be having Monster of the Week on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. Pacific. And
We'll see you yesterday.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh
So
boy.
thank you all again. We love you very much. We appreciate you so much. Please unclench your jaws, drink some water, stretch, go for a walk. Yeah, we'll see you Saturday, I guess, or if not, on Tuesday. Bye.
Good night. I love you.